Needs to go on the road and just play in a different environment.
It would be awesome if we played every game here. But yeah, I mean, I think that playing the 4 games at home was solid scheduling on our part, just because of the fact that we have so many new faces and we're still trying to figure out our identity. And I think we're slowly but surely getting better with each game. And to play away from home 6 games, a lot, pretty big stretch. So we'll see how we fare away from home.
Do you feel like you got a 7 right now that you trust? With the starting lineup and with Jordan and with Jazz, is that?
Yeah, I would say those 7 are and then Corey's had like on our pro day, Corey was really good. I thought he was really good last night. Just trying to find some consistency with both Corey and Niz. But again, I mean, we got 7 is deeper than we've been. And so we feel like, we're, other than, some guys were sick last night. The Martin twins were sick and Jordan was sick. So we want to try to get as healthy as we can with all these games coming up and travel.
You've played the Vegas tournaments a couple times the last few years. I mean, there typically isn't a huge crowd there. I guess how important is it that you guys bring your own energy and that you guys are, completely up for those games when you're not going to have 10,000 fans at Lolla behind you?
Yeah, no, I think it's a legitimate question because of the fact that, last year San Francisco beat us. We weren't, we kind of went through the motions hoping that, that we'd win at the end of the game, but we didn't play with a lot of energy but we do think we're going to have a lot more fans this tournament than we did last year. I mean, I know for myself, I got about 25 extra family members coming this year than in the past, and so we feel like we're going to have the majority of the crowd will probably be Pac fans. So, not that it's going to be full or anything, but there'll be enough that'll give us a little bit of energy, and but we're not going to have that at Loyola, and we're not going to have that at USC, and not going to have it at Staples in an arena that big where even if you have a couple hundred fans, they're kind of drowned out. But I think, the dilemma that we have is the same dilemma that Tulsa will have, and the other 2 teams as well, just playing in an arena, that's not full.
You happy with where you guys are at right now?
Yeah, I mean, we went to lunch today and we talked, and we look at our margin of, if you look at our offensive and defensive ranking on either Basketball Reference or even KenPom, I mean, we're both sides of the ball right now. We can only judge off who we've played, and we know that we're playing better competition coming up for sure. So we, have to continue to get better.
Coach, with your first road trip of the season, as a head coach and your time as being one, do you find it more challenging than other road trips?
Yeah, this one is. This one's hard. The group that we're going up against in Las Vegas they're all really solid, really good mid-major programs. And then obviously, Loyola speaks for itself, and we, not that we know what that environment's going to be like, but we know it's going to be rocking and loud and hot, and and then you look at come home for 4 or 5 days, and then we go right back out. So challenging for sure. The teams we're playing, all well-coached teams, and we can only, the only thing we really should be concerned with is, how do we play the early game on Friday, which means you got to win the game on Thursday. So that's really the only concern we should have right now.
What do you think of Tulsa so far this season?
Yeah, they're athletic. They do a great job getting to the foul line. Those are 2 things off the top. They'll probably zone us a little 3-2, 2-3, switch back and forth between zone defenses. And, the good thing is, like last night, Cal Baptist went zone, and we just popped them real good. Actually, our zone offense last night was much better than our man offense. So, and I thought in the first 2 games we went through some scoring droughts or whatever, but I think sometimes we do a better job of involving all of our teammates when we're going in our zone offense. I think the ball moves a little bit more, gets first side, second side, third side a little bit quicker. than maybe our man. And I thought last night we took some individual quick shots those first 10 minutes that we don't seem to take against zones.
Last night you had Henson going off a little bit. He was having a good game, but how are you trying to incorporate Nisre and get his flow going a lot throughout the game?
I mean, we're playing him, some minutes, but he's struggled from the field and struggled from three and struggled from the foul line even. I mean, we sent a guy to the foul line to try to kickstart him when there was a technical called on the opponents the other night. We stuck him to the line, and I mean, it's kind of like a baseball hitter gets in a little bit of a slump, and you got to try to figure it out and keep playing with confidence.
What's the significance of going on the road in terms of just team bonding? And obviously, it's just you guys, and you'll spend a holiday together. I mean, is there a lot of stock you put into that?
Yeah, I think that the one thing this team hasn't done much of is be away from each other outside the lines. Have been, obviously the new NCAA rules. We've had, more opportunity to be on the practice floor. But I thought last year Costa Rica really helped us get to know each other on the floor, off the floor, each other's tendencies. So I think it'll be good. I mean, there's a lot of real positives as well when you're on the road.
You got a couple games before you play against Loyola, but how often do you think about that game, from last season?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, to keep your sanity, I know like some coaches say, hey, I'll go back and watch, whether it's a Super Bowl coach or coaching in the NCAA tournament, and you think, hey, that could have been us in the final. I don't really look at it like that because I'm sure that Coach Smart with Texas is looking at the thing and saying, hey, we could have beat Nevada. We were up 12 with X amount of time. And I certainly know Cincinnati's sitting there saying, hey, so to me, you know what? We could have lost to Texas. We could have lost to I'm not real good about certain things of coaching and handling losses right after a game. But one thing that I really don't look back much on is like big games that we've won, games that we've lost and could have advanced. I don't. Because it's just, there's you win some that you shouldn't as well.
Have you looked at that film at all and prepped for this game? You haven't watched it at all?
I mean, I never watch until right before we play somebody. So I mean, our whole focus is, the Loyola game is worth one game on the schedule, and the Tulsa game is, we want to play it on prime time on Friday. We want that time slot that's nationally televised, and the only way to get to do that is to win on Thursday.
Will you go back and look at that game in advance of Loyola
yes.
just to see what they did?
Yeah, I shouldn't. I mean, this summer, Coach Ruda and we did watch pick and roll coverages and some things like that, and but yeah, we'll utilize it because there's so many guys they still have back from last year.
Standpoint than from exercising the demons or something.
Yeah, no demons. Yeah, it's all just personnel. Obviously we want to see how certain guys on their team scored, and the big kid down low, we want to evaluate him, and we want to obviously evaluate Custer and how he scored the ball, and so those things will be really important.
Do you like that you get to play them again? I mean, obviously the Mountain West Missouri Valley could have prepared other teams, but it does seem like a pretty cool thing to be able to go and play a team that you played for such large stakes just a few months back.
Yeah, I mean, I think the good thing with a lot of these games we have coming up is you win the game and it really helps you. You lose a game and it doesn't necessarily hurt you that much, and that's the beauty of when you play really good competition, and especially when you do it on the road or not at home. And so, the Texas Tech loss last year, yeah, it internally hurt because we felt like we could have won and should have won, but that loss actually helped us because we were willing to go on the road and we competed against a really good team. Our loss at Staples Center to TCU actually helped us. And so, the great thing about these games coming up is they will not hurt us as long as we play hard and play the way we're supposed to.
You guys really traded on that last year, how well you guys played away from home. You know, a bunch of really tough road challenges as well this year. I mean, how do you feel like that's a differentiation for your program over some other top 25 teams and teams across the country that you guys will go play whoever on the road?
Yeah, I think it's really important because even the BYU home game, I kind of look at it like last year's Rhode Island game. I mean, really hard team to win against right out of the gates, a team that's going to do well in their conference, and then you add in, some neutral site games. Arizona State is so talented, and to go play at Utah, there's just not a lot of mid-major type programs that want to go play there. And so, I think our schedule is really good, and we've handled it so far, and we'll see what happens over these next 6 games.
How much more will you know about your team for your next home game than you know about them right now?
I think we'll know a tremendous amount about where our team is, and I think that the guys especially the new guys, with each game that goes by, there's a better feel for how we want to play.
Any more questions for Cody? I got one. We talked a lot about the new guys, but with that said, how do you feel like the Martins and Caroline have, adjusted and kind of led these guys through these first 4?
Yeah, I think that Caleb and Cody and Jordan are doing what we thought they'd do. I think that, I got to talk to them today because they get a little antsy when we get up and they don't want to come out. But, it's like you're up 35 and you can't afford to have one of those guys get hurt. But they like to play. They're competitors. And I guess the big thing, especially for Jordan is and Caleb and Cody last year, is those guys never came out even when we were up 35 because there was no one sitting down there. And so that's a difference for us, is to let those bench guys get confidence and get minutes.
Did Swish get you anything cool for your birthday?
No, he's hadn't helped me much.
Thanks, Coach. Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, you guys.
Questions for Jazz? How much are you looking forward to seeing just how this thing travels? I mean, it's got to be something you're anxious to.
I'm looking forward to it. It's looking good. I'm just excited to see how we look on the road. That's it.
What are some of the challenges and maybe some of the benefits to just getting away and kind of being on your own?
Benefits are just, seeing something different, being in a different atmosphere, and, challenge ourselves to, play against different teams and, different adversities, you know what I'm saying, because we're going to have to go through that a lot this year. And just seeing, how we come together on the road and, how we're going to be coached up. I'm sure it's going to be the same, but, everything's different on the road and how we're going to prepare. We're not going to be able to be here and practice for as long as we can and be in the gym and get up shots. So it's going to be interesting to see how we prepare on the road.
Just something I've always been curious about, you're going to be in everything from arenas to a gymnasium to Staples Center and all that. Do you need to get out there early and get the backdrop and start shooting and all that? Is that something that's on your mind?
100%. It's definitely a big thing for me to make sure I get my touch on those rims. Or I'm not going to say the rims, it's more just the depth perception. Because, like you said, each gym is different, and it's just important that we are able to get into the gym and just get a feel for it at least.
How much more do you think you'll know about your team for your next home game than you know now after playing Arizona State and USC and Loyola and, these high-caliber teams?
You said how much more would we know? Oh, we'll know a lot more, especially, it's a big test for us to play against these teams and being able to see and look at film when we do play those teams is going to show a lot. You know, it's going to show good and bad, and, you know, Muss is going to do a good job at fixing the things we need to work on.
I think you guys have a lot to prove still against those teams. You know, go out against a Pac-12 team and show, you know, this is why we're in the top 10, because we are this team.
I mean, every game we have to prove ourselves because we're getting everybody's best shot because we are ranked, and it's just important that we come out and we play the same way every game and make sure we're ready for every single game no matter who it is.
These Las Vegas tournaments, I mean, they're not super well attended. I guess how do you guys bring your own energy when you don't have 10,000 fans behind you getting you amped before the game starts?
We just have to. I mean, we come from, our transfers come from teams that really didn't have a lot of fans to begin with. So, you know, if you look at our core group, and then you add in the guys that were here last year, you know, we already have that understanding that regardless, we're going to have to bring it. And, you know, at our last schools, we had to bring it every game because at Portland, like I said before, I've only had like some games only 2,000-3,000 people maybe, you know, so it's just about the love of the game at that point and just wanting to go out and prove ourselves.
We'll see you guys again before you play Loyola. I know you didn't play in that game, obviously. What do you remember about? I assume you watched it on TV. What do you remember about watching that game on television?
I just remember us beating ourselves. We basically had the game, and it's just a matter of just a few possessions. You know, just playing every single possession. And Muss stresses that every single practice, every day. It's just every game comes down to one possession. And it's just a matter of us, you know, buckling down and being ready every day.
I mean, again, you didn't play on that team. Is that a revenge game? Is that a game where you want to go out there and, you know, obviously it's not for an Elite Eight berth, but it's
absolutely, absolutely, it 100% is a revenge game because, you know, as much as we didn't play, you know, we played a big part in last year's team success, you know, because we helped those guys prepare for everything, and, you know, we're passionate about it too. You know, it broke our heart to see them lose. And so, you know, we want to go out and really get this win for the guys last year, but also for us as well.
What's the thing that's pleased you most with how you guys have played these first four?
Just the way we've come, how far we've come. Basically, you know, if you look at Washington, and then you go forward to now, we've come a long way, and it's actually remarkable to see how much growth we can make in such a short period of time, and I'm excited to see how much more growth we can make.
How important have Cody, Caleb, and Jordan been in just leading you guys and sort of allowing some of the new pieces to flourish? Extremely
important because, you know, them being able to test the waters and showing, you know, they have that talent and they're just integrating us perfectly. You know, they're sharing the ball, you know, they're making it a team thing, and, you know, they're being incredible leaders. You know, they're doing whatever they need to do in order just for us to win.
Are you surprised at all, or what's your feeling about your role? You know, you actually ended up with the most minutes on the team last night, which, you know, you don't see that a lot from a bench player and all that, but you're coming off, you're getting some good minutes. Can you tell us what you feel through the first four games?
Honestly, I'm just trying to do whatever I can to help the team win, whether that's shooting, whether it's me having to guard the other point guard, causing pressure. It's whatever I need to do to help the team win, that's what I'm going to do. And, you know, so far it's been my outside shooting and my energy off the bench. And if that's what we continue to need, I'm going to bring it.
I wonder if you could break down your Thanksgiving plate for me and kind of what goes where and what's your favorite and whatnot.
Thanksgiving plate. So if this is my mom cooking, it's going to be, of course, you're going to have some turkey, got some gravy, got mashed potatoes with gravy, and then my mom makes this noodle salad. It's like hard to explain. It's actually a recipe that comes from my dad's mom, so my grandma, and my mom like basically mastered it, and I got a bunch of that because that's my favorite. I don't do stuffing or none of that stuff, and then I'll get like some pumpkin pie or something like that because my mom makes fire pumpkin pie. That's really about it. I might not even finish the plate, honestly, because I don't know. I just get full hella fast now.
Why is that? Do you like eat more meal? How did you change your diet to lose all the weight, I guess?
It really like I didn't really necessarily change my diet per se. It's more just it's eating till like you're more full, you know, like it's not finishing your plate necessarily. It's more like if I feel like I'm full, then stop and just leave it at that. Cause like like the way I look at it is when I eat, it's like when I'm done eating, I want to be able, like I should be able to work out after. You know what I'm saying? Like if I had to work out, I can. So like I don't want to be so full where I just feel lazy, and that's really what it is. And I just continue to have the same work ethic. It's just a matter of it's more proportion control.
You see your family for Thanksgiving? I mean, it's kind of weird playing on that day. That's kind of a family-based day.
Actually, they're coming to Vegas, so I'm actually really excited to see them. I haven't seen them in some time now. Really excited to see my mom, dad, and my sister. And I just, love them and can't wait to see them again.
You gonna make that salad?
Actually, I might tell her to bring it. So that's a great idea. I'm gonna text her right now and tell her to bring some.
Any more questions for Jazz? Thanks, Jazz. Questions for Cody? I said it was Cody.
That's right.
Eric, we might as well start with your Thanksgiving plate. What do you have?
It's almost kind of similar. Of course, like turkey. I do like cranberry sauce. I don't know why. I love it. And then mashed potatoes and gravy, macaroni, and then like these. I probably have too many honestly, but it's these bread rolls. I forget where my mom gets them from, but I pretty much have 3 Thanksgivings every time I go home. Cause I got a pretty big family and stuff, but yeah, it's pretty much. And I definitely don't stop when it comes. Jazz is saying I don't do the same when it comes to like proportion wise. I probably have a few more plates than I should have. So,
Coach was saying, it's you guys are adjusting to sitting for extended periods of time when you got a big lead. How have you adjusted to that?
It's different. It is different, but I mean it helps a lot. Last year we played limited amount of guys, and it did take a toll on our body. And midway through the season, we had a lot of guys with injuries and fighting through those injuries. And Kendall last year had injuries that were far worse than a lot of us thought that he actually had. And then it was crazy to see him play the way he was still playing. But just having these guys to be able to go out there and not only maintain what the first guys are doing, but like the guys that are coming off the bench are starters. We just only 5 people can start. They bring a lot to the table: energy, scoring, defense, and they just play with a different mentality that I feel like most guys that come off the bench do have, and it helps our team in a variety of ways.
Still, when you guys all came back, you knew you were going to have to spearhead this effort to integrate new guys and whatnot.
For sure.
I mean, how much are you guys priding yourself on that and just kind of leading the charge?
I love it. I mean, it not only does it help those guys, but it helps us as well. It is a long season, and we understand that we have a lot of games to play, but also gives those other guys a lot of time and experience, even the young guys like JB to have that experience. And even for the new guys that are playing this year, the transfers that sat out last year, it's a different league, and they sat out a whole year. It is different when you come, when you sit out a whole year and you start to play. That game speed, you can't really match it, do anything else. You're practicing, going against the same people all the time. It's just different. So when you get out there on the court and hopefully, when we get like good leads and things like that, it gives them that time and it gives them that experience to go out there and do that for our team. And I think that it'll really help out along the way down the road too.
Speaking of the road, how important is it to get this thing away from Reno a little bit and see how this thing travels?
I think it's going to be really big, and it's going to be a really good challenge for us because it is our first away game, and it's always good to have your fans and everybody there behind you when you play at home, and it's really fun and to have and for our guys to get that experience, because there's nothing like playing at home. But the real challenges are on the road, especially in neutral spots too. I feel like those sometimes can be the most challenging places because you never know how the crowd's going to be. It could be a lot of people there. It could be favored one side. It could not. There could be nobody there. So games like that, you have to end up bringing your own energy and making sure you're mentally ready every single possession because, on road games, you can't take any possessions off. Every single one of those mean, everything, especially getting down towards the end. And I think it's just about making sure that we're locked in the whole game.
And
In your experience, how does that first road trip measure up with other ones you've been on before? Is it just tougher in general because it's the first time you're away from home?
Yeah, I think it's just different. It's the first road game is, I feel like everyone's kind of nervous because, you know, for the most part, in some of these places you never played before, and it's just different. And, you know, this will be our 5th game, and, you know, we haven't played that many games, and only thing we've really done before the games, obviously, is just practice together. So on the road, it just gives you a different feel, and I think that it'll be a really good challenge for our team to see exactly where we're at. I think that we've gotten better every single game, and I think our chemistry is really getting better too, as well as our defense. And I feel like our chemistry has a lot to do with that, and how much our coach emphasizes not only defense but chemistry and things like that. And I think it's starting to pick up, and we're starting to get the hang and the gist of everybody's game. But it's still coming along, and with time it'll get better. But it's a process.
So you guys are going to go straight from Vegas to Loyola.
Right.
How much do you think about that Sweet 16 game last year?
Probably every day, honestly. I mean, it's just one of those games that you just really wish you got. And at the end of the day, it could have panned out in our favor, and then the same thing could have happened the next game. I would have been thinking about that next game the same that I am today. But at the end of the day, I think about who we're playing first, and that's, you know, we have Tulsa, and then they're a really good team. And when you're in a position like this, you can't look past any game. Every game that we're going to play is important, and it's going to be extremely tough. And we've watched film on them, and they have a really good team and program, and we're just going to have to make sure that we're ready to play, because they're going to be ready to play. I think it's important that we make sure we take every game that we're about to play seriously, and can't overthink or overlook any game coming up, because we're going to get everyone's best shot for sure.
What do you remember most about that Sweet 16 game last year? Or is there like a memory that sticks in your head?
It's that last shot. I mean, it's just one of those that I think about two of them because we had a corner shot with Hallis, and I wouldn't have wanted anybody else to shoot it, not even Kendall, because I've seen Hallis make that shot a billion times, and 9 times out of 10 he doesn't even hit the rim. So it's just, he makes that shot. It just didn't fall, and and I really wish it would have, because it couldn't have been better for anyone else, and it would have been an awesome experience for somebody like him to have that too, especially everything he's been through, and how much he's brought to our team. And then obviously that last shot they made, it's one of those that you wish they would have missed, but it didn't, and that's just something that keeps us going and it fuels us. And it's just going to be one of those games that it's going to be really competitive, and I think a lot of people are looking forward to that game. And it's just going to be two really good programs going at it, and then having fun and competing on the way.
They released that game basically like a couple weeks after you played them. I guess, what were your initial thoughts that you get another shot at them? Obviously the stage is not quite as big.
Yeah, of course, like, you're always looking forward to that game. I'm looking forward to anybody that we play first off to begin with, but then especially people that you lose to, obviously you're looking forward to that. Probably a little bit more than other games, but just because you get a second crack at it. But at the end of the day, we're going to compete with anybody, and we're looking forward to compete with everybody on our schedule, because number one, we like to compete, and that's the kind of team that we have, and that's the kind of coach that we have, and that's kind of what's ingrained in this program, to compete at any game, and just have fun along the way, and don't take it too serious. And just make sure that we take advantage of this time that we have as a team and as a program, and guys that are together, that like, we have a lot of seniors on the team. It's going to be a lot of those guys. It's our last season, including myself. It's our last season, so we're just going to take advantage of every single time we get on the court, and we're just trying to have fun along the way and compete at the highest level. So.
Obviously, year 3 NCAA tournament games are super memorable in so many different ways. What did you learn about March, and just what the NCAA tournament kind of is like by actually getting to go and play in it?
It's tough. It's tough, and it's anybody's game. Like Coach says, it takes, it doesn't matter what you do up to that point. When you're in the tournament, it's 40 minutes. It's you and the other team, and what you do in that 40 minutes is just, it's gonna allow you to get to that next game, or it's gonna allow you to be sitting at home and watching everyone else play. It's just, It's just one of those things where you have to be on your A game. You don't have any room for slippage. You really have to be locked in the whole time and make sure you're prepared. And that's something that our coaching staff and our program does a really good job at, is making sure that we're prepared and making sure that we know everybody inside and out. I think that March it's extremely fun time because it can be something that can give you a lot of memories, and it can also be something that it's something that can really, really, really stay with you for the rest of your life. And I think what happened last year is something that will always stick with me forever. And it's one of the greatest experience I've had in my basketball career. But at the same time, I have another season to possibly do the same thing, and I would love to do that, if not go further. So, those are our goals, and I'm sure that's everyone else's goal who's here playing college basketball too, or it should be at least. But we just have to take it one game at a time, and I think we're just going to have as much fun as we can along the way.
Coach has made it pretty clear that as you guys go on the road and then as this competition level goes up,
right,
you guys can score basketball, but defense is going to be the difference.
Right.
Has that message been received, do you think? Would you agree with that?
Yeah, for sure. I think that I never thought that our offensive game was going to be an issue. I think that it's not that I don't think I think that we could really be a really good defensive team. I think it's just the part that we have to want to be a really good defensive team, and I think that that's coming along, and I think that we've made strides in our defensive areas. I think the biggest thing is just making sure we're disciplined and sticking to our principles, and Coach Mush does a really, really good job of making sure that we integrate different things, because not every team is the same. They bring something different to the table, and we have to make sure that we key in on a lot of those areas when it comes to moving forward into our next games. And I think that no matter how quick the turnaround is for whoever it is that we play, they're always on top of that, and they're always making sure that we know every single guy and their schemes and things like that when it comes to their offense, to make sure that we're adjusted when it comes to our defense. And I think that we are making really good strides in that area, and I think that it has shown in the last 4 games, and I think it will continue to get better. Again, like I said earlier, it's just a process, and it takes time.